I've been waiting to make this video for a very long time. For the last 9 months, I've been following a plan that I came up with myself to lose weight, and at this point I've lost 102 pounds. I decided that I wouldn't record this video until I lost at least 100. And because I came up with the plan myself, I decided that I needed to share what I came up with as many people as possible, because I know there are a lot of people out there with the same kind of story, that they've tried all these things like Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem, the Atkins diet, all of these things that didn't work for them. And because this worked for me when none of that did, I'm hoping there can be people out there that this can help as well. The basic idea of why none of those worked for me is the fact that you are always hungry. You spend your whole life being hungry. You're eating and you're hungry. You just finish eating and you're still hungry. Any little tiny bit of food they allow you to eat is just teasing yourself. You get even hungrier because your body's like, oh, we get to eat now? And it's this tiny little bit of food. And it's just making you hungrier. But on this diet, you get to feel full. You get to stuff your face once a day, specifically once a day in the mornings. Breakfast isn't just the most important meal of the day. On my diet, it is the only meal of the day. Long story short is that you're going to be eating one very large breakfast, burning it off with a lot of exercise, and eating absolutely nothing else until the very large breakfast of the next day. That is how this diet works. That is how I lost 102 pounds. I stuck to it for 9 months, and that is how I'm here, looking the way I do today, instead of looking like the pictures that I hopefully have edited in on the green screen behind me up until this point in the video. So, what are we eating? Well, you're gonna be eating a giant bowl of pasta every morning. Specifically, you'll be able to fill this entire bowl with half a box of Whoever Wants to Sponsor Me pasta. And that's a lot. You're gonna feel full for a very long time, but not the whole day. You're gonna feel hungry later. You're gonna feel starving at 10 o'clock at night, but you're not starving. You had a massive bowl of pasta today. That's all you had. And you get to go to sleep with the knowledge you get a massive bowl of pasta the next morning, and that is the thought that kept me going. Because on all those other diets that I did, I'd go to sleep hungry with the knowledge that I'd still be hungry the next day. And that's what makes you want to cheat on diets, to be full for once. But because you know you get to not just be full, but to stuff your face every single day, that's why this worked for me. I will say, eating the exact same thing every single day doesn't really work for your body. Eventually, your body rejects it and you stop tasting it. Your body punishes you for eating the exact same thing all day, every single day. And despite me loving pasta, you can't just eat pasta and sauce and cheese every day and keep tasting it. Your tongue is just like, that is just no longer a flavor. It just rejects it outright. And literally it's going in your mouth and there's no flavor there. It's this weird thing that happens when you eat the exact same thing for a month straight. And so you need to take a couple days every once in a while when you stop tasting it. To be able to taste the pasta again, you need a couple days of a break. And so, that is where Whoever Wants to Sponsor Me mac and cheese comes in. Again, another type of whole grain pasta. Go for 1 day, 2 days, maybe 3 days on this, and you'll be able to taste the Whoever Wants to Sponsor Me pasta again. Another big part of this that you should remember is we are only drinking Whoever Wants to Sponsor Me water. I stopped drinking sodas and milks a very long time ago, long before I actually lost any weight. And I wanted to lose weight for a very long time, and I thought that cutting everything out of my diet that isn't water would work. And it really didn't, because I was still at college and I was eating college food, And at college, you have access to pizza and pasta and french fries and burgers 24/7 all day, every day. And that was really, really bad. It wasn't me drinking milk that was the problem. But because I'd already been in the habit of cutting back to just water in my diet for a number of years, even though that didn't help me lose weight for those years up until these last 9 months, I think that was still a pretty good idea to keep going with that. Now, obviously, we aren't necessarily getting all of the food groups in this diet. I did go to the doctor at one point who was concerned about me not getting all the nutrients I need from this diet, and all they said is that I had a vitamin D deficiency. I had a vitamin D deficiency in 2020, the middle of a global pandemic. Of course I did. No one in the world was going outside and getting any sun. So I was perfectly healthy on this diet. I took a multivitamin for the vitamin D. So, the second part of the diet, and arguably the vastly more important part. You are carbo loading every morning. You're eating pasta, whatever sort of sauce you buy from the store, Parmesan or Romano cheese, whatever you put on it. You are carbo loading. That is what bodybuilders do to gain weight. So what are we going to do to actually burn weight? Understand you are putting on a lot of carbs every morning, and now you have to commit to burning them off. You can't get around this. This isn't a diet, it's a diet and an exercise plan, with the exercise being the most important part. And I was never the kind of person in my life who could really do hard endurance exercises. I was really lazy. I spent the majority of the last 15 years of my life laying on the couch watching YouTube videos. That's not a joke. How do you think I ended up looking like that? It just so happens that I really wanted to commit to losing weight. I found what motivated me. I put my laptop in front of the treadmill, played what I needed to watch to keep my mind elsewise occupied, and I built up slowly. The first day was 1/2 hour in the morning on the treadmill at a pretty low walking speed. Second day was 2 half hours, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. After a couple days of that, it was 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the afternoon, at a little bit faster of a pace. After that, hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon. Eventually, after maybe 2 months, it had built up to I was doing 70 minutes in the morning, 70 minutes in the afternoon, at only 3 miles an hour. Yes, that amounts to 7 miles a day on the treadmill, but it's really not that much, and when you have that many months to build up to that, and you start slowly from just a half hour at 2.5 miles an hour, right? And your legs get used to that, and then your legs get used to 45 minutes at a time, your legs get used to an hour at a time, and then your legs get used to an hour 10 minutes at a time. That's all it is. An hour 10 minutes at a time. After you've built up to the point where that is okay for your body to do. And you do it twice a day, and that's fine. And the reason I kept pushing harder and harder and adding more to this routine is because I kept plateauing. I was losing weight the whole time, eating 1 meal a day, and I was doing this exercise routine, and I was losing weight, but then I'd stop losing weight. And every time I'd notice I wasn't losing weight anymore, I would have to push harder, I'd have to add something new. I'd either have to go faster or go for longer. Eventually, I added weights into the routine. And again, not very hard. I didn't really have any more time in the day to commit to this, so it's like, what can I do while I'm still on the treadmill? I can pick up 2 5-pound weights in my hands, and I can just walk while holding these weights. And also what I can do is I can hold them out, hold them to the sides, hold them out, hold them to the sides, hold them out, hold them to the sides, out, and to the sides. And I can do that for just like 2 minutes, and then I can either put them down because my arms are very tired, or I can continue to hold them here. So every time I would plateau and stop losing weight, I'd either go longer, push harder on the treadmill, and then when I really pushed as hard with my legs as I could, I added my arms into it. And while I don't really have much to brag about at this point besides losing 102 pounds, I will say I've never been a muscular person before, and while this isn't very much, I know it's not very much, it is something worth showing off, and I had never even had any sort of muscle before in my life that was at all worth showing to anyone, and like that's clearly visible. There's a clear, like, you can see it. This is the first time in my life I've ever visually seen a muscle on my body, and I'm proud of it, even though it doesn't come anywhere near close to anyone who's actually strong. So, how did I get the motivation and the ability to just turn my brain off the huffing, puffing, out of breath, and pain in my legs for these long sessions? I found specific things that would keep my mind off my legs. I've been a geek my whole life, but I've never gotten into many things that you think a geek would be into. One, I'm horrible with computers, which is why this video took so long to come out. And also, while I've had a ton of friends who have been into anime, I was never into it until this year. I'd seen a couple things. I'd seen Fairy Tail up until a point, but I was a number of years behind on it. I saw the first season of Attack on Titan when it came out, but I was very behind on that as well. And this year, because I knew I would need something to watch, because I knew I was going to be down there 2 hours and 20 minutes a day, while I was watching Fairy Tail, I realized that I just had these workouts fly by so ridiculously fast. What I found, really, for me, is that anime was the perfect storm. They are so action-packed. The fact that there's the language barrier of the subtitles means my brain is both watching something and reading something at the same time and completely ignoring my legs. So then I just looked to all of my other nerdy friends for anime recommendations, and suddenly I had sped through Soul Eater and Blue Exorcist and My Hero Academia and Hunter x Hunter and the rest of Attack on Titan that I hadn't seen, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and One Punch Man. And like I said, my exercise routine evolved over time. I had to make the walk longer and longer. I eventually added weights into it. So yes, I started lifting weights while watching One Punch Man. Shut up. Anyway, my point is, find what keeps you on the treadmill. I should stress that it doesn't have to be anime. It was anime for me. That's what kept me motivated on the treadmill. That's what kept me down there. And I really think, in my opinion, that the reason it worked, I have no proof to back this up, but I think it's because there was the separation between my brain and my legs because I was reading while I was watching something. And that's how I was just able to go so long and do so much when I just had no endurance at any other point in my life before this. So that's why I spent so much of this video talking about anime. But for you, find the thing that keeps you down there, that keeps you motivated. Find whatever it is you need to watch to make your workout fly by. Once you do, you'll be really, really impressed with yourself being able to go so much further and longer and harder than you ever thought before in your life. That's basically it. I just wanted to finish this off with thanking everyone for watching. I hope that anyone out there watching this, if anyone could get anything from this, even if this video doesn't change anyone's life, if no one follows my routine and loses another 100 pounds, at least take something from this video. If someone could just tweak something about their daily routine with advice that I've given here, then I've succeeded in what I set out to do. Thank you all for indulging me in this vanity project, I guess you could call it. And let me know in the comments down below what kind of content you would like, if any, from me in the future. I have some ideas of my own of videos I want to work on, but I would also appreciate learning what other kinds of things people would want to see me making in the future on YouTube. And yeah, I have no idea how to end videos, so that's it.